Hey, friends, welcome back to the Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Sally Allen. And before I start, full disclaimer, my dogs are in the room with me, all three of them. They might rear their heads and say hi, but here is Nikki. Yeah, little long legs. They're feeling kind of needy today, so they just want to be in the room with me. Anyways, today we are going to talk about winning before you get into battle and the career strategy that nobody teaches you. And I think this is important, especially at this time of the year. Well, it depends on when your company fiscal year is, when you do raises and when you do promotions. But I feel like most company does it at the beginning of the year. And the strategy is when I say win before the battle, what I'm referring to is by the time you get into the room to talk to your boss about raises, promotions, or where you want to go, either you've done the work or you haven't. This is what I meant by winning before the battle. You have to start that strategy before you start talking about it. And I want to make this clear. A lot of people don't realize this. And I get clients saying all the time, well, my boss didn't talk about me about what's available in the company when it comes to raises and promotions. And should they? Yes. But most of the times they don't. And it's not because they're bad people. Sometimes they don't even think about it and they don't even think about you because they have so much going on. And a lot is always going on in businesses, as you know. So you individually have to take the bull by the horn and take control of your own career. So I want to go into a few things that indicates that we have lost the battle or we haven't prepared a battle strategy before we get into the room. Is that we wait too long to have that conversation. You're in that room and for the first time you've been with the company for 5 years and you're having this conversation about raise and promotion. And you don't have a strategy and you haven't thought it out, but you know that you deserve a raise and promotion. I've seen this all the time in my coaching with my clients. Say, Sally, I asked my boss for a raise and promotion, and based on what? And sometimes I get this is the one that gets me the most. Please don't say this when you're asking for a raise and promotion. Because the thing I get, and it's amazing to me how many times I get this from my clients. If I don't have that title, people won't respect me, or people don't respect me because I don't have the director title. What you are actually saying is that you don't know how to influence people in general, because you can be a leader wherever you're at, whatever level you're at. You do not need a title to be a leader, because I am sure you've seen leaders with big titles who can't lead people. So let that be an example. A second one, you're really good at the job you're at, but not preparing for the job that you want. This is really important to be able to prepare for the job that you actually want. If you're in the room talking to your boss about this and you don't even understand the job that you want or you haven't done anything, you're already losing that battle. Get prepared for the job that you want. And third, we think our boss is the only person who matters. This is the biggest mistake, thinking that your boss is the only person who matters and who needs to know what you do. That should not be the case. If he's the only one, you're already way behind the curve. So how do we start prepared? I'm giving you all the things that said, hey, this is what you don't do, but here is what you do. When we go to battle and we go to war, we study the terrain. We don't just ask the questions, how do I get promoted? Understanding what you wanting to get promoted to. Understanding the role. Understanding the details of the role. Get the resume that goes with that role and the job description. Who is the person that needs to know that you need this job, understanding all of that will help you get ahead of the curve, studying the terrain. You have to have a GPS and directions. If you don't know where you're going, then you're just in the dark. Having directions is important. Setting that GPS to the navigate to where you want to go is important, and understand what each step of that navigation is. Start operating one level ahead. And I started talking about this. You're not, it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing two jobs. But if you're driven, you'll take the initiative to get to where you want to go. And how badly do you want it? So it might require you to go over to that department and say, hey, I'm interested to learning more about this. Could I jump in this project with you? What does that look like? Even if you're busy, we're all busy. But how bad do you want it? That's what determines what you will do to get that raise and get that promotion. And building relationships. This is so important. Having mentors is good, but understanding what a sponsor is so important. A sponsor is somebody who knows that you are a rock star and they speak up about you in the rooms you're not in. So, for most companies, when people are getting promoted or they're discussing raises, I know they sit in a room with other executives, because the question becomes is, why does this person deserve to get the raise and promotion? And you have to be able to, as a boss, say, this is the reason A, B, C, and D. Now, I want you to picture this. Your boss is in a room with his boss and a few other executives and the HR people, and they're discussing you. And your boss is the only one who knows you are a rock star. That's no bueno. It's no good. This is why we need sponsors. We need to go out there and actively network with people, talk to them, and let them know who we are, what we do, and what we bring to the table. Because when your boss is sitting in that room and they're discussing you and discussing your raise and discussing your promotion, there's someone else in that room that knows you are a rock star. And that brings credibility. When more than one person in the business knows that you are a rock star, guess what? It raises credibility. And so you're more than likely to get that raise and get that promotion. I remember my last job that I worked, I never got less than a 6 to 7% increase every single time. And I know when my boss was in that room, nobody questioned why. Because I did a good job advocating for myself, and I did a good job talking to everybody who would listen to me. Well, I don't mean it like that, but I mean, I started asking board members to be my sponsors. So, as we head into the last quarter, I really want you to think about your strategy. Where am I going? What does the next level require? And what evidence am I building right now to show that I am ready? And then think about these next 3 moves. This is about being strategic. One conversation you need to have with that sponsor, one relationship you need to strengthen in the business, and one result you need to deliver that's outside of the scope of what you do. That's it. Because you don't want to walk into the year-end conversation hoping that you can convince your boss that you deserve that raise and promotion. You want to walk in there knowing that you have evidence. Evidence-based proof is important. So, with that, I'm closing out this episode. And if it sparks anything in you, I hope that you like and share with your friends. And I always say this: if you change your mindset, you can change your life. Have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next episode.